Today, as you can see, you're going to see my hair blowing around. It is pretty warm in the office because I've had my heat press going today. I've got the 3D printer going. There's quite a bit of heat in this room. And I'm at the top of the house, so it's very, very warm. So I am going to show you guys today on just some of the things that we've been doing over here. What we're going to be doing is packaging, and then I'm going to show you guys what I've been making. I've been working on stickers or not stickers, I'm sorry, magnets and car coasters. I just made a bunch of car coasters. These are ceramic. I like the ceramic ones the best because I personally think that they absorb the water better. It sounds weird maybe, but because the bottom is porous, it kind of absorbs it and it doesn't make your cup holders so nasty. I was using like cork ones there for a while, and it was just, I don't know, it was weird, and it kind of almost had like a smell to it. So I'm like, no. So we are gonna I'm gonna show you guys how I'm making them. I'm gonna show you guys how I package them, and let's get started. Let's move this down a little bit. Let's see if you guys can see just a little bit better. You can see I have painter's tape out here. There's a little trick that I learned, and I actually learned this from a friend. So these packages have these little tabs, and these little tabs, I can tell you guys, stick to your fingers so bad. They stick like with static, and they won't come off, and they'll be like stuck on your shirt, stuck on your pants. It is the worst. It doesn't matter if it's summertime. It doesn't matter if your room is cool. It doesn't matter. They just stick. They're really, really weird. So what I like to do is I like to take painter's tape, and I make a strip of painter's tape, and I fold it over so that the sticky side is sticking out, and I take that piece and I stick it on there. Then when I'm done, I literally fold the tape up, roll it like this, and toss it in my recycle bin, because technically this all can be recycled. It's plastic and tape. So you can either do it on the table, which we'll do it on the table so you guys can see. I sometimes will do it on the edge of the table, like right here in this area. But we're going to just put it on the table so you guys can actually see what I'm talking about. This works great for painting too, if you're painting like wood. Okay, so, no, I don't want to end. Oh my goodness, guys, that's how it's going to go today. Okay, so we might have to grab the other phone holder. Let's go grab the other phone holder before we make ourselves sick. That would not be good. All right, sorry about that, guys. This way I can actually move it down and it's not going to fall on me. So, as I was saying, see this strip that I have here? That is to stick all of that on there. So, let's get started. Okay, so we do double packed, which are like this. These are doubles. And then these are singles. So, the reason I do singles too is so that people can decide, okay, well, maybe I don't want two of the sea turtles. Maybe I want one Rainbow Bright, and I want one Deadpool Wolverine, and I want whatever. So this group that I did is a little bit different. It's more geared towards Jeeps, which I'm a huge Jeep lover, and it's geared towards kind of like St. Patrick's Day. And I did add some superheroes in there because, I mean, after all, it is Comic-Con, so you gotta add like Spider-Man and Batman. And then we have like saying ones that say, sometimes you forget you're awesome, so this is your reminder. And we got a bunch of them that I've already pre-made over here on my Canva, because what I've done is I have downloaded a template from Etsy. I bought it off Etsy. Again, guys, I'm not sponsored by any of these people, okay? And so it's just easier for me to toss it into there, because then I can upload the pictures, move it over. It's just an easier program to use. So today we are going to start off with doubles. And I literally use this tape right here. It's double-sided. It's sticky enough to hold them on here, but it's not so sticky that when you go to buy them, you can't get that stickiness off, okay? So we are going to make 2 of these double packs, and then 2 of them will be singles. So we'll have 2 and 2. And then we have the bigger packaging. So I always take and fold this piece to the back side. I always add my business card in there with my QR code on it because I know a lot of people like the QR code. A lot of people are like, it's just easier to have that QR code. So then I peel this and see, watch guys, see how this sticks on my hand? It's like sticky. So I stick it there and then I'm going to seal that and set it off to the side. So we're going to do that multiple times. You guys are going to kind of sit with me while I'm doing the packaging. I always like these packages because look what they say. Handmade with love, because it is true, guys. I put all of these down. I designed them. And yes, it is, some of it is graphics that I've already had, or graphics or pictures that I've bought, but it still is done by hand. I hand place all of the coasters. So each coaster is hand placed by me, and then we just package them up. I personally, like I said, I like giving a business card, even though I know probably people are going to buy multiple. Then you know what? They have multiple business cards, and business cards are just great. And you can also make your own if you are on a budget. If you are one of those people that's like, I need to save money, and Lord knows the economy is awful, so I get that. So singles, we do these smaller cards, and I always just take them and just flip them over, and then I just peel off enough tape that I can stick on the back of these. And like I said, this tape comes off really well. Also, you can buy a adhesive remover. There's many out there that you can buy to take adhesive off. If you're ever one of those people that, maybe you put stickers on your car or maybe on your computer or whatever, and you just want to be able to take it off but not leave that residue. So again, these will get my business card as well. And my business card is just big enough that it sits in there, and then we stack it over here on the side. And like I said, I like to take this piece and flip it the other way. I'm going to show you guys also, after we're done packaging, that how I create the designs, what I set the temp to my heat press to. Now my heat press, I absolutely have had, I still have, actually, it's down in my garage. I have the old heat press that you actually press down, swing it out. I kept burning myself on it. I'm not going to lie. It was not fun. So I quit doing it, and I would always ask my husband to do it because it was just, I was always scared that I was going to burn myself. And it kind of comes with the tools of the trade, right? You're going to burn yourself if you're using anything hot. It's going to happen. But I was getting so paranoid that I was going to burn myself that anxiety would just take over. We're getting to the end of this tape, so I'm going to have to grab another one out, which is no big deal because I buy them in packs. So again, we're going to put these on here. I just noticed that you guys can't completely see exactly how I'm doing this, so let's move it over here so you guys can actually see. Anyway, so I got this new press, and it actually presses it itself. It actually holds the pressure down. It actually does it all itself, which I love because I don't have to use my strength to close it because I have messed up shoulders. So it's a lot easier for me to use this. And I love the press so much so that I went and bought the mug press, the tumbler press to go with it. Because I just thought it was really, really good product. And I've loved it so far. But I'm going to tell you this right now. The tumbler press, I can plug into a power strip. Now, my power strips that are in here are rated for garage use and stuff like that. So they're rated for tools and things like that. But the big unit, I have to plug that directly into a wall. I learned that the hard way. It was working fine for a little while, and then when I was using it constantly, it would overheat, and it would shut itself off because it has a special safety mechanism. So I had to learn really fast to, kind of finagle it and get it plugged in. Hold on, guys. I got to grab some more tape. I got this tape. I'm going to recycle that one. I got this tape from the local craft store, but you can get it online. You can get it anywhere. And as you can see, it's got writing on it. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to get to the edge, and you're going to want to pull all of that off. I know, you're probably thinking, that's a lot of tape that's wasted. It's actually not, because this is, oh my goodness, guys, now it doesn't want to cut. It's almost like it's too thick. There we go, we didn't get it to the end. So it is double-sided, but it's got writing on it. Obviously, you can't use that. Again, recycling. Okay, so let's do our cute little Jeep coaster. So I flipped them over. It's just a little bit more efficient for me to be able to do it this way, because it just, I don't know, I feel like I go faster with it like that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use my phone holder thing to hold that extra plastic piece down. So I hope everybody is having a fabulous day. I hope that lots of things are getting done. It literally sounds like either Amazon or UPS. I have a lot of things coming, because obviously we're getting ready for this event. So I have a lot of products being delivered, extra things. We are going to make some metal signs. I might do that today. I'm not 100% sure if we're going to get to that today, but I will try. So what I love about the metal sublimation things is because metal and ceramic, they seem to just take the sublimation ink so much easier than, like I bought some sublimation mouse pads. No, they did not work. They literally were not working, guys. They were so bad. I used them for DTF, which DTF means direct to film. If you don't know what that means, or that is, it is almost kind of like printable. It's almost like screen printing, but with like a vinyl style, and it stretches with your shirt. So it's really good to use for like shirts and stuff like that, or bags or things that you know you're going to stretch. So what I do is I was using them for that, because they actually worked better that way. I was really bummed because I spent, money on that material, and it just did not work. It says that you can do neoprene. I have not found neoprene to be a friend of mine. So I just don't work with neoprene anymore. For sublimation, I do DTF with it instead. It's just easier. And I have a sublimation printer. I have one that's just sublimation. And then I have one that I converted to a sublimation printer, which I could do bigger formats with. So like metal signs, bigger, materials and things. And then I have another one that I converted to a DTF printer. Well, the DTF printer, and I've said this before on a video, but the DTF printer has decided it does not want to print white. So anything I need that's white will not print. So I've been doing a lot of darker prints and things like that. And I need to print things because I need to get the ink out of it, because I'm going to convert it back to a photo printer, because I also do photography. I do a lot of landscape photography. And so I absolutely would love to be able to print my own photos. It just would be a lot cheaper in the long run. So grabbing some more of these. Now, guys, obviously you can see I made a pretty good size stack of these coasters today. I have actually been making coasters for the past couple days and cleaning my creative space. I call it my office/shop, because I do have like my computer and stuff like that in here, and I do other things in here, but for the most part it is like the 3D printer and the sublimation printer and DTF printer and wood cutter. So it's more like a shop as well. So it all just, I like spaces to be clean and uncluttered. It just feels like it doesn't zap my creative flow. I have been diagnosed with OCD anxiety, and I was diagnosed with anxiety after I lost my mom in June. And so I have always been kind of an anxious person. I just never knew that the OCD was caused from the anxiety. And I've always had a little bit of OCD when it comes to like organizing things. I like things in their place. I like, scissors are always in this drawer and things like that. I just never thought it was an actual problem. And I just, I've lived with it, I guess, my whole life and never thought it was a big deal. But to me, it isn't a big deal because, like I said, I've been living with this for my whole life. But according to my therapist, there are ways to not make lists all the time. And see, growing up, I just always thought, well, that was just being organized. That was just making sure that I had everything I needed when I was going on a trip. I don't know if a lot of you know this, but my husband was in the military. He's a retired veteran now. And we traveled a lot. We traveled a lot back and forth from where we were stationed to family in Michigan and family in Kentucky and family down in South Carolina. So we traveled quite a bit. And in doing so, I always made lists because I needed to make sure that I had everything I needed for all three of my kids, plus myself, and anything that I was bringing to family or whatever. So I just always thought that was just me being organized. Turns out it was me being OCD. But like I said, I am one of those people that likes a creative, clean space. I don't like clutter. It actually zaps me of my creativity. And any creative person knows you kind of, either you live in the creative chaos, that's what I call it, the creative chaos, and you make a mess and then you come back and you clean it. Or you like your creative space to be a little more chaotic, but to you it feels comforting or it feels normal. Good for you. Good for you, because I'm not one of those people. I like my space to be organized. And unfortunately, this home does not have a lot of storage spaces, and so it is very much hey, I have to buy the storage to put everything in here. And the other day, I went out to get storage bins, and I could not find what I wanted. And I knew that I needed stuff, so I just kind of settled for some things. But I definitely am going to need to make a trip to one of my favorite stores. And again, not sponsored, guys. IKEA. I love IKEA. All of my design tables, all of that came from there. I absolutely love it. My entertainment center downstairs is from IKEA. I have a lot of stuff from IKEA because I like walking in there. It gives me like some peace because it's just, it's funny because I like the organization part of it. And when I see like things even that I don't really need, let's be honest. I mean, there's a lot of those times when you go to the store and you are like, oh my God, I want this so bad, but you don't need it. IKEA's like that for me. There's a lot of times I'll be like, oh, and then, people be like, what do you need that for? I don't know, but I need it. It's something I need. So we are almost halfway through all of these. I absolutely love this one. I think this one's super cute. Like I said, I'm a big Jeep person. I've owned many. The first vehicle I remember my mom and dad having was a Jeep. My mom had a Jeep growing up. Me growing up, we always had a Jeep, and it's just one of the things that I have loved for a long, long time. And then I got a Grand Cherokee, and it's not exactly the same as a Wrangler, but it was a Jeep, and I loved it. And then I got a Patriot, and then when I got my first Wrangler, that was the game changer for me. And now I have two. Plus, we have some other vehicles, but Jeeps are really big, and Jeeps have saved our lives and stuff, so it's very important to me to be part of the Jeep community. Again, not sponsored, not telling you to go out and buy one either, guys. I'm just saying, just trying to give you guys a little bit of perspective of who I am and what I'm all about. I am a big person about being inclusive. I love everyone to feel like they have a safe space. So I hate when people do hate on other people. Everyone is entitled to their opinion and their feelings. Nobody has to shove it down anybody's throat. But you are free to speak your mind here and no judgment. Because I just don't like feeling like you don't have a space. And maybe this can be your space. Now, if you guys are obviously watching this on Twitch, thank you for following me. If you're catching this on YouTube, please subscribe and follow my YouTube channel. I'm going to do more lives on YouTube, or like send them to YouTube, because I just recently found out that Facebook is no longer keeping your lives for longer than 30 days. And guys, I have been on Facebook for many years with my old company that I was part of, a direct sales company. And I have thousands of videos that I have to download because they're going to just delete them on me. And even though I'm not part of that company anymore, it's videos that I worked hard to do. So I am going to kind of move my platform. I also am on Instagram, or TikTok, Lemon8. I have a YouTube channel, and I am on Facebook still. And I do Blue Sky. I was doing X, but it was too hard to kind of break into. And so I decided to go with Blue Sky. So I will post, well, actually in here, in this channel, there is my link for all of my social media platforms. It's also got a link in there on how to shop and support and follow. It's got links to the Twitch account. It's got them for a Twitch streamer that I sponsor. All of the things. So feel free to share and tell others about my channel, and subscribe if you're catching this on YouTube. Another thing about YouTube that I love is basically it's like archiving my photos. So I download my photos, I put them on a sorry guys, I put them on a hard drive, an external hard drive. I have 4 of them in my office, and I have one big one for my house. But I like to be able to keep all of them, because I like to go back every once in a while and just kind of keep an eye on how far I've come from over the years of never being one of those people that likes to be in front of a camera. One of the biggest reasons I became a photographer, I did not like being in front of a camera. I was like, no. I mean, when I was a kid, I was more of a ham like that, but it was more for like family videos and stuff like that, people that I knew. When I started going live, I was always concerned about people judging me and people doing stuff like that. And to me, now I'm like, you either like me or you don't, and you're part of my tribe or you're not. And everybody can do their own thing. Be in your own lane, right? So if you're afraid to go and do a live, you've been wanting to do it for a long time, go for it. Do it. It's really, really good to pull yourself out of your comfort zone. I love my comfort zone. I'm not going to lie. Love it. So much so that I would be like, do I really have to go live? I was losing my hair due to complications from diabetes. I was so self-conscious, and I would wear hats just to keep people from seeing that I was going bald and things like that. It gave me a little bit more confidence. I started doing lives after the pandemic, when everybody kind of was at home, obviously. And I loved it. I ended up loving it so much so that I decided to keep doing it, even with my own personal business. I don't know if any of you guys have checked out the website or not, but at one point I had a candy club on the website to allow people to buy candy. And the more you bought, the more you saved. And isn't this one cute? Look how cute this little guy is. I think he's adorable. Anyway, and I took the candy off. And candy will be coming back in April. We'll be getting a whole new batch. The candies I had, some of them were expired. Obviously, I'm not selling expired stuff because that's gross. But it also got to a point where it was like, okay, I need to focus on certain things, and I was kind of streamlining everything. That's why I kind of let some of my affiliate programs that I was part of go. I streamlined to the things that mean more to me, like my business page and things like that. It just makes more sense for me. I had a lot on my plate. And then when I lost my grandmother, I was kind of floating through life at that point. And then my mom got sick. And then she passed. And then my grandfather and great aunt and sister. So it's been a lot. And I honestly thought about canceling Comic-Con. I thought about, do I need to do this? Is this going to be good for my mental health, or is this going to be more of a hindrance? It took me a couple days to figure out what I wanted to do, and that's fine. Everybody has, needs time. Grief is a weird thing. Grieving is just weird. It comes in waves. Some days you think you're doing fine, and then other days you feel like you're floundering. And I have learned to just give myself grace and to do the things that I need to do. And if it doesn't benefit my mental health, then I'm going to say, okay, it's not worth it. And I sat here and I thought about it for multiple days. And then I decided, okay, you know what? This is something that you've been looking forward to. This is something you signed up for last year. Actually, right in the middle of Scarefest, I signed up for Comic-Con. And I am so glad that I'm going to do it. I think it will help me. I think it'll help me get back into a normal routine. I'm trying to find my new normal. That is what I'm trying to do. It's not exactly easy, but it is what it needs to, I'm doing what I need to do for me. So we are almost done, guys, packaging these up, and then I'm going to show you guys how to create these. And yes, I like to show people how to do this stuff because honestly, when I started, I honestly had none of this. I never had experienced sublimation ever in my life. I had not even had, when I worked with wood, I did it in shop class in high school years ago. And I'm not going to say the date because I don't want to age myself. But I loved working with wood. But I just kind of, life gets in the way. Things happen. You kind of move on past these things. And so I never really got into any things really with wood. I mean, I would make some things, but not a lot. And then I had a friend of mine introduce me to some stuff that she made with her cutter, and I thought, well, how did you do this? What machine did you buy? Is this done by hand? What is this? And she told me, and I was like, that is super cool. So I went out and I bought a laser cutter, and it worked great until it didn't. And then I kept fighting to get a new one, and they finally gave me a new one, and all of the things. So I then decided, you know what, I'm going to review, because I'm a big review person. I like to see all reviews and see what people are saying before I purchase anything expensive. Before I purchase anything, to be honest, guys. And so I did a lot of research, and that's where I got the Wheat Create from, because I did a lot of research on different cutters and what was good, and some of those out there, guys, are extremely expensive. And I kept thinking to myself, I am not solely focused on that one thing. If I was solely focused on that one project, then yeah, maybe I would spend a little bit more money and I would have more invested into that into that machine. But to me, I was like, I need something that's budget friendly. I need something that, as a beginner, because again, like I said, I've never done it before, needs to learn, and a machine that kind of just does its own thing, right? So that's where the We Create came in. And before that, I was doing things like resin. Again, never had done resin in my life, so that was new. And normally I am not one of those people that's just like, hey, let me try this and let's go with it. I am not like that. But after my mom got sick and things like that, I was just like, you know what, life's too short. You do what you love. And, you know, I made a promise to my mom that I would continue to do my business because I love it. So I wanted to expand some of my product lines and have different things to kind of give my customers a variety. So there's all of those, guys. And so I'm going to finish saying this before I'm done. But so I expanded into sublimation, expanded into doing the DTF. Again, never had done any of that before. Never done 3D printing. None of that. So this is all new to me. You're kind of into the journey with me, and I am super happy that you guys are here. So there's our stack of all of the ones we've made so far. Pretty crazy. So I'm going to take you guys over here to the computer. Let me grab my tea, because the more I talk, the more I'm going to lose my voice. I can tell you guys that. It's going to happen. Okay, so I have multiple computers in my office. I just like having spaces where I can, okay, this computer is just for the We Create. This computer is for whatever. So I like to do that. So I'm going to flip the camera. Let me flip it around so you guys can see. Okay, so here is the Canva. You can see that the words are backwards. Guys, the reason the words are backwards is because when you sublimate, you have to flip those words, because if you don't, they're going to be backwards on the material that you make. So we just created these. I just saved it. I want to double check and make sure that I did save it. Let me double check. I'm pretty sure. Yep, it's right there. So these are the ones that I've made so far. And you guys can see the numbers. This is how many I have done. This is number 43 over here. And these are all the ones that I've made so far. And you can see how I do it. So we are going to make number 44. And I'm going to show you guys. So I go in here and I delete this. Okay, and you can see that there's like a cloud, and these are called picture frames, and you can fit things into them. Okay, so you can just toss things over to them. Let's just say this one. Okay, this is Thank You for Being a Friend. Golden Girls, absolutely love that show. Grew up watching it, love it still. So we are going to make a bunch of these, and we are just going to put them right in here. And you can see, obviously, it says thank you for being a friend. And see how easy this is? This is how easy it is to do things with a template. Yes, it can be done without a template. Absolutely can be done. So if you don't have Canva, which Canva has a free version, just so you know. If you don't have Canva, it's okay. You don't have to have Canva. It just makes it easier because it's a graphics program. So obviously we're going to go over here to this where it says share. You're going to click on that. You're going to download it. It's going to download as a PNG. You can change that if you want. If you don't want it to be a PNG, I like them being PNGs. It's fine. And then it's going to save onto the computer. I know it says number 38. We're making number 44. But I'm going to change it when I go to put it into the computer. This is on a file that I have this right here. This is my external passport is what that's called. And then I have one over here. And then I have some other ones. So we are going to save this. See, it says 38 and ones in parentheses. So we're going to save this as 44. And now it's saved. So I'm going to flip this around real quick. So what we're going to end up doing is we're going to end up printing those. And then what we're going to do is we're going to print all these, and then I'm going to show you guys how we sublimate. Sublimation has, when you sublimate something, it has a side to sublimate on and it has its back side. For the tumbler, it's obviously the outside of the tumbler, not the inside of the tumbler or the top of the tumbler. When you're doing metal signs, it's the white side. When you're doing like these little bookmarks, which we are going to make, these are also metal, just so everybody knows. They do have a protective coating on them that you peel off. Make sure that you do peel that off, because I made the mistake and did not peel it off, and it was a weird little film. And I thought to myself, well, that's just weird, right? Why is that weird? And then I went to peel it. There went my design. It kind of mirrored it a little bit on the back, but it was messed up, and I'm sorry, but every dollar as a small business counts huge. It's just, it makes a big difference. So I'm going to show you guys again how we're going to do this. So we're going to pull up our file right here, and I double click on them. So this one is our love one, and once it opens, you'll see it. It's going to pull it up into a photo file. You can see it right there. See the love. It is backwards because, again, we want to make sure that it is going to be the proper way. So you go up here to print. Obviously, your printer is going to come up. This one's going to bring my Sawgrass printer, which is literally to the left of me. I have another one that's to the right of me, and that one's, I usually use that one for bigger formats. It can do this smaller format, but you definitely want to make sure that you get all of this. So you want it in portrait mode. You want to make sure you're either making 1 copy, 2 copies, however many copies you want to do. For the Sawgrass SG500, which is this machine right here, that's my Sawgrass. That is kind of, it tells you, okay, it's in the tray, and that's the only tray that it has. Where the Epson, I have multiple trays. There's the bottom tray, there's a cassette 1, a cassette 2, there's the rear tray feeder. You got a bunch of different things, and obviously you want it to be an 8.5 by 11. Just normal plain paper is fine. Usually on my Epson, I do not do plain paper. I do premium matte paper, because that printer is not a sublimation printer. I have turned it into a sublimation printer, so you got to kind of finagle it. You're going to hit print right here, and then we're going to turn around, and you're going to wait till that sign right here, it says data in, and it'll start blinking blue. Sorry about the camera, guys. Hopefully it is sending it, because today it has decided to kind of work and kind of not. I think it needs a vacation. Don't we all? So let's check and see if it's going to send it. Sometimes I have to do it multiple times. Thank you guys for being patient with me. It doesn't seem like it wants to send. So we are going to do this all over again. That's why I keep the program open. So I'm going to go back up there and hit the print button. And again, the Sawgrass SG500 is going to come up. I always want to make sure that this preview spot is loaded, because sometimes if it's not, the printer, I don't know what's going on with it, but the printer acts like it can't function. I don't know why. But I keep thinking I'm seeing the blinking, and I'm not seeing it. It's like, I don't know what is happening. But if it doesn't want to work, then we will kind of maybe move on to something else. I can always do it from the other printer. But today, for some odd reason, the printers just don't want to work today. I don't know what's going on. It was working fine. Obviously, you saw all of the stuff that I made earlier. So now we are back to square one. So let's clear off. Here, let me flip the camera so you guys can kind of see what I'm doing. So obviously, this is my Epson. I have paper down here in the bottom of the tray. We are going to move stuff out of the way, because that tray's got to come out. And we are going to print, don't mind the mess up here on top, guys. But we are going to print it on the Epson instead. You like my guy over here wearing my hat? I call him Max. Probably for a lot of younger generation, but there used to be a show called Max Headroom, and he was just a head, and he would talk, and it was a show I used to watch with my mom. So I obviously want to pick the right printer. So I have 2 Epson printers. Actually, I have 3 Epson printers. One's my office printer, And then I have two that are, one sublimation, one's DTF. Well, I put the numbers on here so that when I look at the computer, I don't know which one is sublimation, which one is DTF. So I have the 5A B8FF is my sublimation. So I'm going to flip this around so you guys can see. Okay, so I'm going to click that one right here. Okay, and we obviously still want it in portrait. Now I'm going to move this for a second. Let me make sure, guys, that okay, it's not cassette 1, it's cassette 2. So I'm going to move this to cassette 2 because that's the paper feed that I want it to do. So it's saying plain paper, bright white paper. No. We want to do premium paper matte. That's what you always want to do. And you want it full page. So we're going to hit print. Fingers crossed, guys, that this works. Today it has not been wanting to work. It says that it's offline. I don't understand why it's saying it's offline because it is not. It is literally online. It's showing, hold on, I've got you guys flipped around the wrong way. Sorry. It is showing that it is online. So I'm not understanding what is happening right now. So this is my life. So let's try this one more time. I'm not sure why it's saying it's offline because it literally is not offline. So what we're actually going to do is we're going to close that program down. We're going to close all of this down. The more we have on this computer, the slower this computer seems to want to be. And I don't know why, but it's driving me crazy. So we're going to try and send it back over to the sublimation SG 500, which is the Sawgrass 500 printer, and see if I can get it to print. Because I really want to show you guys how I'm doing this. Because if it doesn't print, and the other one doesn't want to print, we're going to kind of a little bit of a problem, because then I can't do any sublimation. I do for when you are doing tumblers. I buy my tumblers offline. You can get them from different companies. You can buy them at the craft stores. You can do all that kind of stuff. So let's see what is going on with this today. Oh, guys, it's blinking. It's blinking. There it goes. Now it wants to work. See, sometimes I don't know. Technology is not my friend sometimes. So as you can see, the way it printed, right? So now we're going to go over here, and I'm going to show you guys how I do this. So let me turn the camera around here. Let me see if you guys can see exactly how I'm doing this. Actually, let me grab the camera, because for some odd reason, it doesn't seem to want to be working. Okay, so I always turn this on. I have it at 400 for 185 seconds. You always want to use parchment paper, butcher paper, something like that onto here. So we're going to let that get to temp, okay? So this is our sublimation blanks. There are 6, so we want to pull out 6 of these. There's 4 currently. Let me grab 2 more. And now I'm going to show you guys quickly. Let's grab the other phone holder. Sorry about that, guys. How I do this. Let me turn the camera around. Well, you guys are seeing like all different angles of my office today. Like all different angles. I guess this is your behind the scenes, right? So we're going to pull all these out. Now you'll see there's a shiny side and there's a dull side. The dull side is what you want to go up. You do not want the dull side going down. I'm going to stop this fan from blowing over here because obviously I want this heater or my heat press to heat up. I don't want it to be cooled down by the air. So not exactly a great camera angle, but we're going to go with it, right, guys? So I like to stick these all together when I'm going to do them. While I'm doing one print on here, I always like to make another print or print another print so that I can do this. So let's go over here. You guys can see. Okay. So when you're going to put them on there, there's a spot right here on the paper. You can see where it's cut out. That's where you want to put this piece. Okay, so you're going to want to make sure that 1, it's on that circle, and 2, that it is the shiny side that is down. Shiny side down, because I will show you guys in a second what happens when you don't put shiny side down. When you get so excited and you do it wrong. because believe me guys, I still do it wrong. And I've been doing this for a little while now. I feel like I kind of know what I'm doing, but this is how it goes. So I got so excited and I printed these, and I got bummed because they turned out like that. When you saw the ones that we did, why did they turn out like that? Because I printed them on the wrong side. So you definitely want to keep that. Now, when you make a mistake on these and you think, okay, it's done. As you can see, this one is backwards. I got excited. I made it backwards. So what I can do is I can actually take these. I'm going to print out a black square or a rectangle on the sheet. I'm going to sit these on there. The black will go over top. You might see a color underneath. If that is the case, do it again. Make this background black and then go and sublimate back over top of it. And yes, you can sublimate white over top of that because the sublimation ink is what's going to take that over. So just an FYI, if you ever make a mistake like that. So these are Teflon sheets, or copper sheets. Some of these are copper. You can get these also off the internet. You can get them at a store. You can even use parchment paper. I like these because they're strong and they work really good. So you lay that over top. Let's move you guys back over here so you can see. So it's over top. Obviously you can see it's not to temp yet. So we're going to slide this in. And this is the brand that it is, guys. And then we're going to wait till this red light goes green, and then we'll push it, and it's going to clamp itself down, and then it will make the product. So we've been doing that today. Really, today and yesterday were the days that I focused on these coasters. Tomorrow, I'm going to be doing metal signs, possibly show you guys metal signs today. Tumblers. I've shown a tumbler video before. I don't know if you guys have ever seen it, but I have shown a tumbler video. It is on my YouTube channel, so you can always jump over there and see that. And I'm going to show you guys real quick on the 3D printer what we printed last night actually, is this dragon egg. As you can see, it's kind of got like a hue to it. It's got a green hue and a pink hue. It is something you can open. Super cool. I love how it turned out. Well, I'm printing another one, and I'm going to flip this around. Okay, so this is the one that I'm printing. I'm using this printer filament, and that's how much time we have left. So also, guys, I just realized my dehydrator has pulled that out. So what we want to do, if you ever have had, or if you've ever worked with sublimation, or not sublimation, I mean 3D printer filament, it is not exactly as easy as I thought it was going to be, because I didn't know that plastic was going to absorb water. I didn't know that. Hold on. I'm going to set this on back. I did not know that that was what's going to happen. So we're going to grab a silica pack. We're also going to grab a Ziploc bag. So while our other thing is going, we are going to put this filament into this bag. I'm going to suck all the air out of it so that it stays with, it just beeped. Hold on, so I'm going to press this green button. It's going to do its thing. It's going to press, and it's going to do it for the 183 seconds. Okay, so we open up these bags. I did not realize that they were going to absorb the moisture. So I actually went and bought myself a dehydrator. Hold on just a second, guys. And I bought myself a dehumidifier. I need to grab the tool real quick that we use to suck all the air. So you definitely want to make sure that if you're going to get into 3D printing, you kind of read into it. I didn't. I thought, oh, just open up all of the filaments, guys. Just open them all up and look at them all and check them all out. No, no, no. Unless you're going to use that filament, don't open it. I learned that the hard way. Alright, now that's closed, I use this special little tool, and then we're going to suck all the air out of here. I'm going to show you guys what I'm doing. I'm going to move this down. Try not to make the phone fall over. Alright, so I have this bin behind me. That is where all of my filament has been sitting. I am running out of room in that, so I literally bought a new one. I'm in the process of, I'm going to end up having to fill that one. I got to clean out a space for it. So this is just going to suck all the air. It's going to vacuum seal this. When you get the filaments, they are vacuum sealed anyway. So you definitely want to make sure you re-vacuum seal them. You want to make sure that you're keeping the moisture off of them. And as weird as it sounds, one, Kentucky is very humid. It's a very humid state. I grew up in Michigan, very humid state, surrounded by water. It's very humid there. And there's drier climates, obviously. But I didn't think to myself until I actually kind of sat down and thought about it. This is the bonus room over top of the garage. This is the roof line is right behind me. Well, of course it's going to have moisture. I mean, of course it is insulated, but there's going to be moisture. See how thick? So the silicone pack is going to absorb any moisture I have in there, and it is going to keep this good to use the next time. I didn't realize that it was just going to suck up all that water. So I bought myself a dehumidifier. That'll be here soon. I think it's be here tomorrow. And then I bought myself a dehydrator. I didn't realize that these should go in the dehydrator. I open them. I put the ones that I'm getting ready to use into the dehydrator. Or just, I put it on for like 12 hours. And just let it do its thing. Then I pull them out, and then I do this with every one of them. You have to do this every single time. So it does become kind of a little monotonous, but it is something that you have to do if you have a 3D print. All right, guys, we just got these off. So I'm going to flip this around so you guys can see. Oh, we got to get our special gloves. I have these gloves, and they are for heat. Okay, so as you can see, this sheet is hot. So we're going to pull these off, and I'm going to show you guys. See how cool those look? So I sit them here on these little silicone mats. One, so that they can cool. But two, so that they don't burn my surfaces. And as you're pulling them off, you're just kind of doing it from the edge. They are hot, guys. I can feel the heat coming through my glove. Those turned out super cute. Oh my goodness, I love those. So now we're gonna shut the press off. I'm not gonna keep you guys on here forever and ever and ever. I mean, I could, but we are gonna shut that off, and I'm gonna turn the fan back to oscillating. One, so it can help cool these down, so we can actually use those to put them onto their packaging. I recycle as much as I can. I'm a huge person of recycling, so I actually have a paper shredder. And I shred all the paper, and then I recycle it. These are our metal signs we got today. I got 40 of them. These are packs of 10. Let me see. Oh, I can show you guys exactly what they look like. This is a blank. It has a plastic film over it. Backside is metal. And when you sublimate on them, yes, I do have some down here. All right. I love this one. This one made me laugh so hard. So I made this one. So that's what they look like when they've been printed. Now, these are waterproof. You can actually put them outside. I don't personally suggest people put them outside, only because they could rust, or the screws will rust or whatever, but you absolutely can. They're waterproof. You absolutely can do that. And so that is what's been going on over here today in the past couple days. We are in the process of making all the things. I want to show you guys real quick some really cool thing. I know that my husband has been working on beading. He does beading, and I absolutely love it. And I want to show people what he has been up to. So this is what he's been making. He's been taking these right here and beading them, putting the awesome designs on. He can explain it better to you. Let him explain it to you guys.
Using checked glass beads with leather backing. Got soft leather that's about 2 ounces to harder leather, which is about 4 ounces. And then over there are all...
Don't mind the mess, guys, but these are completed ones ready for Comic-Con. We are doing superhero themes and other things like that.
And I'm getting ready to put the wrap on to attach the leather.
And this,
I sew the beads on a Pellon. It's a felt Pellon 71, I think, is what I'm using. You can use a bunch of different types of Pellons, but that's what I got. I have, these are, the French name is Cabochon, and it's just a glass dome, and I printed off the image and Mod Podged the image to the bottom of this, did a couple coats, and then I glued it on with like E6000 or some other kind of equivalent glue. Got a couple different kinds. And then there's also used Dimensional Magic, which is Mod Podge Dimensional Magic is another one that I do. And then I just run a groover. Here's my groover. I run that along the edge. That gives me my my little valley where I'm gonna do the stitching.
he turns these into keychains, but he can make pretty much anything personalized. But right now we're obviously in Comic-Con mode, so we're not really doing any personalization right
I
at this
put
moment.
that there, and literally where the needle should, according to the line out, it should pop out, if I get that right. It should pop out right there in the little groove area. And then I just line that up and go in, out, in, out, in, out. And then I start doing the beaded wrap. I'll come from this side. And then I'll load on 6 beads, 7 beads, depending on the size, how much I cut this back. Some, if I go bigger, I have to add more beads, but I've kind of got it down to a science. It's about 6 or 7 beads. Each bead package is a little different, so some are going to be 6, some are going to be 7. But I'll load 6 beads and then come back in through, and then I'll pop out right here. And then as I'm coming back out, I'll hook that last one, and then another 6, and just keep going around and around.
Okay. So he's been doing that. And we actually have some of the other things that he's made. He's made rings. He's done necklaces. He's done earrings, things like that. So he does that, one, to help his PTSD. Because like I said, he was a veteran. He is a veteran. He was a combat army vet. So he does this beading with a PTSD is what he does. And so he's kind of engulfed that into Riverstone Cottage Gifts. It's another element of our kind of product line that we carry. Thank you guys again for watching. If you are catching this on YouTube, please subscribe, and I'll see you guys another day. Probably see you guys tomorrow maybe, and we'll do another live. All right, talk to you guys later. Bye.